All right, let's look at MAGA versus MIGA. Make America Great Again versus Make Israel Great Again. Tucker Carlson posted this tweet that got people pretty riled up. He says, the real divide isn't between people who support Israel and people who support Iran or the Palestinians. The real divide is between those who casually encourage violence and those who seek to prevent it, between warmongers and peacemakers. Who are the warmongers? They would include anyone who's calling Donald Trump today to demand airstrikes and other direct U.S. military involvement in a war with Iran. On that list, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Rupert Murdoch, Ike Perlmutter, and Miriam Adelson. At some point, they will all have to answer for this, but you should know their names now. So he dropped names, and there is a big war going on inside of the conservative side of the aisle of people that they voted for America first, not Israel first, and they're getting Israel first, and they're pretty upset about it. I want to show you this tweet. This is Bill Ackman. I don't know why he just doesn't come out and say he's just an Israel firster. He acts like he's an American citizen. I suppose he has American citizenship, but this is what he's saying. The parade was great. Our military is incredible. And now Israel needs our help to destroy Iran's nuclear threat to the world. Israel's military and air force have sufficiently degraded Iran's defenses such that this is now the lowest risk, highest probability moment to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities, a grave threat to us all. We should not let this opportunity pass, but Israel does not have the equipment and armaments to complete the job. We do, and it does not require boots on the ground. The war Israel's been fighting has been on behalf of all of us. Let's help them finish the job. This must be the guy that writes the Hasbara, because this is exactly what they've said to us over and over and over again. They're fighting a war for all of us. Really, when was the last time you felt threatened by Iran? The Ayatollah has been in power for 47 years. So tell me, in these 47 years, did you ever feel threatened by Iran ever once in 47 years? Have you felt like, oh no, Israel's coming to get me? I don't think you've ever felt, Israel is coming to get me, but Freudian slip. Iran's coming to get me. I don't think you've ever felt that way. None of us have. None of us have cared about the Iranian regime for 47 years. We've seen Israel complain about them. Sounds like an Israel problem, not a United States problem. But these people are trying to bait us into a war with the same old talking points, which is, Iran, a nuclear Iran is a grave threat to us all. Really? Like a nuclear China or a nuclear Russia or a nuclear North Korea? Because guess what? They all have nukes. And we were told, especially with North Korea, grave threat, it would be terrible. We're going to have to start a war with North Korea to prevent them from getting nukes. Well, they got nukes. We didn't start a war. And are we being aimed at by North Korea? Are we shaking in our boots every day, worried about North Korea bombing the hell out of us? No, we're not. So what would it matter if Iran had a nuke to the United States? What would it matter? And then saying Israel's fighting the war on behalf of all of us, right? Okay, sure. No, it's actually just for you, and that's it. So just say it and say that you want us to fight a war for you. For what reason? And because you feel like you deserve it, because you bought off all of our politics, because you're Bill Ackman, the billionaire that has bought off all of our politicians to get them to agree to these wars. So just say it. You paid for it, so you want it. That's what you're actually saying. Here's Mark Levin. He says, let Israel finish the job, period. Iran is on the ropes and must be stopped now. The result will be real peace. He's also been calling for the United States to join in on this war, constantly asking for the U.S. to get involved, calling up Donald Trump, asking for the U.S. involvement. Now, here's somebody who's mostly been on the right side of the issues, Marjorie Taylor Greene, alongside Tucker Carlson. She's been one of those outspoken MAGA, a true America First MAGA supporter. And she says everyone is finding out who are the real America First MAGA and who were fake and just said it because it was popular. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of these right-wing, big names, they acted like they were all America First. We all knew, a lot of us knew they weren't really. And now they're being exposed. And she says, unfortunately, the list of fakes are becoming quite long and expose themselves quickly. Anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America First MAGA. Wishing for murder of innocent people is disgusting. We are sick and tired of foreign wars, all of them. And this one will quickly engulf the Middle East, BRICS, and NATO as countries are required to take a side. Real America First MAGA wants world peace for all people and doesn't want our military killed and forever injured physically and mentally. We love our U.S. military and love them helping to secure our borders and our cities for the defense of our people and our country. They're our friends, spouses, cousins, nieces, nephews, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters. We've spent trillions in the Middle East, and we have dealt with the aftermath of death, blown apart bodies, never-ending suicides, and disabling PTSD. All because they told us propaganda as to why we must sacrifice our own to defend some other country's borders and some other countries' borders. I don't want to see Israel bombed or Iran bombed or Gaza bombed. I don't want to see Ukraine bombed or Russia bombed. And we do not want to be involved or required any of it. We are 36 plus trillion in debt and have mountains of our own problems. We have giant planks sticking out of our eyes while we complain about splinters in others' eyes. Every country involved and all over the world can be happy, successful, and rich if we all work together and seek peace and prosperity. Taking this position is not anti-Semitic. Isn't it crazy she has to say that? It's crazy she has to say that. Taking this position is not anti-Semitic. It's rational, sane, and loving toward all people. Taking this position of peace and prosperity for all is not isolationism. It leads to great trade deals and great economies that help all people. It's what many Americans voted for in 2024. America first, America first, America first. That is how we make America great again. What a wonderful tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she's right. A rising tide lifts all boats. And that's what she's talking about. Like, why can't we all do well in the world? Why can't all people be prosperous? Why do we have to have war with anybody? Why can't there just be peace and trade and prosperity? Why can't we aim for that? Why can't we be a country that aims for that instead of aiming missiles at each other? She goes on to say, she shows this tweet. And this is she says, last week they said Iran was days away from a nuclear bomb. Well, it's been days now, and Iran's nuclear facilities are not destroyed. So does Iran have a nuclear bomb now that it's been days? They've been telling us for decades Iran was only a few years or only a few months or only a few days. However, the truth is more countries than is public have some sort of nuclear capability. It's not anti-Semitic to ask these questions. Again, crazy she even has to say that. It's fair, critical thinking, and honest dialogue. After all, innocent people are dying and more will die if the U.S. gets fully involved. And then she shows, they've been saying since 1992 in this timeline, Iran is 3 to 5 years from nuclear capability. This was in 1992. In 1993, Iran pursuing nuclear weapons close to capability. 1995, Iran 3 to 5 years from nuclear capability. You jump to like 2005, 2009. Iran 1 to 2 years from nuclear capability, right? 2012, Iran months away will complete enrichment by spring, summer 2013. 2022, Iran weeks away from nuclear breakout. So we've been hearing this since 1992. Years, just a couple of years, just a couple of months, just a couple of days. We have to do something. We have to do something. We have to do something. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. We shouldn't want to do anything. And it's true. This is not America first at all. But nonetheless, somehow they've been able to bait us into war. Somehow, look, I mean, you look at the State of the Union address and you see how many standing ovations the presidents get. And then you go and you look at when Netanyahu comes and addresses Congress, how many standing ovations he gets. He gets more standing ovations than the U.S. president. He gets more standing ovations than anything that has to do with America. And that's not by accident. That is by design. Our country has been purchased. The politicians have been bribed, or they've been blackmailed, or they've been brainwashed. But one of those three things has happened to nearly every single member of our government. And now Israel knows that they have the ability to start a war and bait Americans into it and throw American bodies at it. And of course, Donald Trump will start off and say, well, we don't have to put boots on the ground. He's right. We could just do some air support or, this, that, or the other. But if the war turns, because everybody's really bold and they think they're mightier than they are. And they think, well, it'll just take a couple of days and we'll just take them out. And then you don't take them out. And then you end up with boots on the ground. And you end up with attacks against Americans because we're attacking them. This is just this is not what America wants. We do not want another Middle East war, and we certainly don't want with Iran. I want to show you this. This is footage of, this is like the flight tracker, and this is evidence that the U.S. might be headed to war with Iran. This is all of these oil tankers. These are tankers heading east, and you could just see them turning. These are like flying gas stations, U.S. Air Force tankers, and they're now heading east. They're not saying why they're heading east. The Pentagon's not saying anything. There is an exercise in Finland that some people are saying, well, maybe they're going off to that exercise in Finland that's starting soon, but this is not typical. This is not normal. Those that know about these types of planes and this type of movement say this is not the way, if they're going for an exercise in Finland, this is not how it works. This is not how they transport over there. The fact that they're all flying over there looks like the United States is headed to war. And I got to tell you, many of you know, I am in southern Italy right now, and I've heard NATO jets fly over me every single day that I've been here. NATO jets are flying in the skies, and it's not normal because the residents that are here, who are here all the time, they keep looking for the jets. They want to see what the jets are. This is not a normal thing for them. Suddenly, there's a lot of jets in the sky. So it is looking and feeling like the United States is going to make a colossal mistake, that Donald Trump is going to make a colossal mistake. Republicans are going to make a colossal mistake because, look, you might say, well, Trump, he's in his last term. What does it matter? Midterms matter. And when the Republicans get slaughtered in midterms, then Trump will be just a lame duck president for the last 2 years of his term, and he won't be able to get anything done when Democrats control everything except the White House. And that is where he's headed if he makes this absolute colossal mistake. We have not been able to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. That's only ramped up actually with Ukraine's attacks. We have not been able to end Israel's genocide in Gaza. And now on top of it, Israel has started an offensive war against Iran. And on top of that, states looks like we're going ahead and joining in because all of the donors, like I said, the backers, the blackmail, and the brainwashing has clearly worked. And meanwhile, and look, Israel says all the time, we tried, we were looking for a deal. Apparently, Trump is going to give Iran one last chance to negotiate a deal, which they're not going to do. At this juncture, I don't know why Iran wouldn't just build the nuke at this point. At this point, what would be your motivation to not go ahead and secure nuclear weapons? I mean, that's what deterred any sort of invasion of North Korea. It's because they eventually got nukes. And so that was the end of that. That was the end of that thought. But Israel and the United States has not attempted to really, truly negotiate in good faith. Israel has assassinated all the top negotiators for all of their conflicts. They assassinated Ismail Haniyeh. He was the main negotiator for Hamas. He was not a Hamas. He wasn't part of the Hamas military wing. He was part of the political arm of Hamas, and he was negotiating a peace deal. And they assassinated him. They recently just assassinated Ali Shamkhani. He was the lead negotiator for the nuclear talks, and he was killed. So they clearly don't have any effort whatsoever. They're not making any effort to negotiate. Here's actually Ali Shamkhani talking just recently about how positive he felt that Iran and the United States and Israel, I suppose, would come to a deal. Watch this.
Yes, we are ready.
Shamkhani is one of the few people in Iran authorized to speak about the sensitive negotiations.
We can definitely have better relations with the U.S.
Shamkhani said that Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon, to getting rid of its stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, to only enriching to a level needed for civilian use, and to allow inspectors in to oversee it all, in exchange for lifting all sanctions immediately. He said Iran would accept that deal tonight.
Yeah, except they don't want to offer that deal. Instead, the United States is asking for something that they know no one else in the world is asking for, which is zero enrichment. It's not a good faith negotiation. It's a negotiation meant to evoke war. And that's exactly, and which it didn't even evoke a war from Iran. It evoked the war from Israel. Israel thought, well, okay, let's just go ahead and strike. And they did. And here we are. Here we are. And we're getting the same exact narrative. And I can't believe that people are actually falling for this. Weapons of mass destruction. the weapons of mass destruction narrative once again, and they're actually using that phrase. They're not even reframing it, using a different phrase in order to trick us into once again marching into another war for weapons of mass destruction. They're actually just saying weapons of mass destruction, but they're not even saying Iran has weapons of mass destruction. They're saying Iran will get weapons of mass destruction. So this is even lesser than what they accuse Saddam Hussein of having. They accuse him of actually having weapons of mass destruction. They're just saying Iran might get some, and they're still wanting you to more, and it's working. And they're saying, oh, Israel's fighting for the world. Israel's doing the job that, and we're fighting on your behalf. Where have I heard this one before? Oh, right, from Zelensky and Ukraine saying the same thing. We're fighting the war with Russia so you don't have to. We're the ones taking the brunt of it. And they're being slaughtered. And that should be something that Israel looks at. And they should worry about the fact that Ukraine is being slaughtered by Russia. But they're gambling and they're thinking, yeah, but Israel is not Ukraine. And by the way, Israel's not a NATO country either. Ukraine's not NATO, Israel's not NATO, but Israel knows that Israel owns our political class, that the American government has been bought off a long time ago, and it's not actually an America first government, it's an Israel first government. So they gamble, and they're probably right with their gamble. It probably was a safe bet. And just again, the narrative that Iran is an existential threat. Iran is this giant existential threat. Yeah, the Ayatollah has been in power for 47 years, and they haven't attacked the United States once. Not once have they attacked the United States. They didn't attack the United States this time either. But it's Iran that's the existential threat. It sure looks like actually Israel is the existential threat to not only Iran, but to America, the sovereignty of America, and the will of the American people. Hey guys, thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you could check out Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.